Welcome to our channel where Bible stories come to life for kids. Join us as we explore the wonders of God's Word through fun, engaging, and easy-to-understand stories. From the creation of the world to the amazing adventures of biblical heroes, each story is filled with lessons about love, kindness, and fate. The story of Moses striking the rock twice, that he was only supposed to speak to. The Israelites had been traveling through the desert for a very long time, but their journey was far from over. God had promised them a wonderful land called the Promised Land or Israel. Their journey on their way through the desert should have taken only 40 days. But the people had very early in their journey distrusted and rebelled against God, even though He had performed so many wonderful miracles for them along the way, helping in their difficult challenges. One of those great miracles was the parting of the Red Sea at the Gulf of Aqaba. Because of their disobedience and rebellion, God had decided that their time in the wilderness would be 40 years instead of 40 days. At one point, they came to a place called Kadesh Barnea, but there was a big problem. There was no water, the people were thirsty, and they began to complain to Moses and Aaron. They asked, "Why did you bring us here to die in the desert? There's no water, and we, our children, and our animals will all die of thirst. Did you bring us out of Egypt just so we would die here in the wilderness?" They had forgotten about all the miraculous things that God had done for them, and how He had actually brought them water from a rock before in a place called Rephidim. The people, being very upset, kept grumbling against Moses. This made Moses feel very sad and frustrated because he had been leading them well all this time under the guidance of God. And now they were very angry with him. Moses and Aaron knew that they couldn't solve this problem on their own. They went to the tent of meeting, a special place where they could speak with God. They fell on their faces in prayer, asking God for help, and God answered them. God told Moses, "Take the staff, the same staff that Moses used when he parted the Red Sea, and gather the people before a rock." God told Moses to speak to the rock in front of the people, and it would pour out water for the people and their animals to drink. Instead of speaking to the rock as God had told him to do, Moses lifted up his hand and struck the rock not just once, but twice, with his staff. Water gushed out, and the community and their livestock drank. But the Lord was very displeased with Moses and Aaron. God told Moses that because of his rash and disobedient action, he would not be permitted to lead the people into the Promised Land. God told Moses that he had failed to trust and honor him in the sight of the people. Moses had also called the people rebels, saying, "Must we fetch water for you?" This was not good because it seemed like Moses was playing God with his speech. But there was another issue also. Previously, God had given the people water from that rock in Rephidim. That time God told Moses to strike the rock. At that time Moses had struck the rock only one time. Striking the rock only one time was an allusion to the sacrifice that Jesus would make for the world. Jesus was to be sacrificed only once. When Moses struck the rock twice, it was as if he was crucifying Jesus more than once. So indeed it was a very grievous sin. This was a very sad moment because Moses had been such a faithful leader of the Israelites up to this point, but even though he had been leading God's people for so long, he still needed to obey God's instructions very carefully, even in difficult times. In the end, God continued to allow Moses and Aaron to lead the people, and God continued to guide them on their journey. However, this story teaches us a very important lesson. When God gives us instructions, we must follow them carefully. Even when we are frustrated that things don't go the way we expect, we should trust and obey God because He knows what's best for us. Here ends this video on the story of Moses' disobedience at Kadesh Barnea. Continue to visit our channel for other important Bible stories like this.